back. We're still working on our weather app. Let's add another feature here to the weather app. So, so far we've got our app working. It looks like this so far, right? And it displays the weather and the location, right? So let's do a 94010. It says Burlingame. 94122 San Francisco, right? So yeah, that looks pretty good. Seems like it's working, right? So, this looks good. What if we wanted to get the temperature from the location, right? So right now we got to type in the zip code, but what if we wanted to get your location, right? So there's a couple issues around this. The computer, like your desktop, can get your location and your phone can get your location, but they only allow you to do that when you're working over an HTTPS connection. And right now our React app is working on localhost, so it will give us an error when we try to use the geolocation, right? And the other thing is on the server side, at the OpenWeatherMap API, right? They also need to use an HTTPS connection, right? So we need to have both sides, right? So in other words, like what the browser is trying to do is it's trying to protect your location. Like it doesn't want anybody outside to be able to see it. It needs to be encrypted and secure. So HTTPS is a secure HTTP connection, right? So internet connection secure, right? Okay. Luckily, the OpenWeatherMap API uses HTTPS. So if we look at our weather component right here, the address that we're serving from is HTTPS, right? So that's good for us, right? So that's going to work. But now we got to get our local server to run from HTTPS, right? Let's come back to that. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to revisit that in a moment when the error comes up, right? So instead of fixing it so we don't see it, let's actually get started, and then we're going to run into the error and solve it, right? But that's going to be something that happens, right? So how do we get the location, right? Actually, one more thing before we go too far here. Let's look at the API for OpenWeatherMap. So I'm on the OpenWeatherMap page. I'm on the API guide right here. And as I scroll down, you can see I can get I can get the weather by city name. I can get the weather by city ID. I can get the weather by geographic coordinates. So we're going to do all the things that we did earlier, except we're going to swap the URL for this URL, and we're going to provide the latitude and longitude. So what it means is we got to go find the latitude and longitude. We got to get our computer to generate the latitude and longitude. So I'm going to handle that in this way. I'm going to go look up navigator.geolocation, okay? And you can see I get like at the top here, it says Mozilla Developer Network. So this is kind of like our JavaScript guide, right? And you can click on this get current position right here, right? And actually, there's another one here that's like Navigator geolocation property on W3 School. So you'll see a whole bunch of information about this, right? Because Navigator geolocation is a built-in API in the browser, so we can use that in any browser should support it, right? And you can check support here. You can go to can I use geolocation. So I'll go to can I use geolocation, and this shows me, this is a website that shows support. So it's showing me, like most of the browsers support it. Looks like Opera 10 doesn't support it, and Safari 3 doesn't support it, and Firefox 2 doesn't support it, and Chrome has partial support, right? But actually, all of those are all old versions. The new version, the current version, like Opera 75 supports it, Safari Technology Preview, Safari 10, Chrome 93 to 91, 90, these all support it, right? And to get a better idea of what the support is, you can click on this usage relative. So this tells us like how many browsers support it, like proportionally to the browsers that don't. And you can see here, like it's got like pretty good support, right? So these large green bars are what people are really using these days, right? So I think we can use this feature. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the Mozilla Developer Network, and I'm going to look at their, actually, you know what I want to get is let me get the second one, get current position, because we're going to use that function, right? So I'm going to go here, and then it says, hey, secure context. Okay, so the feature is only available in a secure context, HTTPS. So remember that, right? And then down here, it shows me the syntax, navigator.geolocation get current position. And then it takes 3 parameters. So one is a success, 2 is an error, and the third parameter is options. These are wrapped in the square brackets to show you that they're optional. So we have to include the first one, but this second and third one are optional, okay? And then if I look at the parameter description down here, it tells me what they are. So success is a callback, right? So a callback is a function. So we're going to pass a function in here for success, and then we're going to pass a function in for error. So the error is an optional callback, right? And then options is an object. So this is an object that includes these properties, right? And we can describe to the geolocation system like how to get our position, like what kind of accuracy we want, and some other details, right? And then they give us a block of sample code. Okay, so let's borrow this sample code. So I'm going to copy all this right here. It'll just speed up our process, right? So I'm going to copy this, right? And you know, if we look at this, you can see they've defined the option object first, and then they have a function for success, a function for error, and then they're going to call navigator.geolocation get position, and they're going to pass in the success function, the error function, and the options object. Okay, so that's up here, right? So let's just copy all this. And what we're going to need is in our UI, we'll need another button here that maybe we can click on. It'll say get by geolocation or something. You can click that instead of typing in the zip code. Okay, so let's go and get that. I'm going to go to my code here, and there's my form. I'm in the weather.js component. And maybe I'll add another button here, and I'll say button. Maybe we'll say by location. Okay, so now I can see my by location. I'm going to have to style this button. It looks a little funny with the corners there, and maybe I'll make it a little smaller and move it underneath here, but let's just leave it alone for now, right? And what we want to do is add an on click. So remember, I have all this code right here still on my clipboard. We're going to use that in a moment, okay? So I'm going to say on click, and I'm going to write a function in here. So I'll just write the whole thing so I see that this is my function, right? And what I want to do is when this function occurs, I want to call another function, okay? So let's go up to the top here, and I'm inside my weather component. And what I want to do is I want to call on another function. So I'm going to put it inside here. Maybe I'll add a couple comments here to make this a little more clear how we read it. And we could break this up more too, but for right now, why don't we just keep everything together in the same kind of area, right? So this will be my geolocation stuff will go underneath here, and then I'll just paste all that stuff in here, right? So so that looks okay, right? Maybe we could rearrange this a little better, but I think that that's going to work for us, right? So I've got my options object here, and let's maybe change this like a little bit, okay? So I don't want to, like what I want to do is I want to have this options object, and then I want to have my success function and my error function. But these functions don't run immediately, right? They wait until someone calls them. If I have this code just sitting out here in the open, right, what's going to happen is when my component loads, it's going to run each one of these lines of code, and the functions it'll define, but it won't do anything with them. They won't run until we invoke them, right? But it will run this block of code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this last line right here, and I'm going to take it, find my by location button, and inside the block here, I'm going to call navigator.geolocation. And again, we could have done this on a single line, but it's so long, I think maybe I'll put this on the second line here. Okay? And then we'll call this function when you click the button, and we'll pass in the success, the error, and the options, right? And we could rename these if you want to make it a little more clear, but I think for right now, we'll just leave them the way that they are. I think I'm going to make a couple small changes. Since this isn't going to change, I'm going to make that a const, right? And in here, instead of using var coordinates, let's call that const coordinates, right? And right now, we're just going to console log the coordinates, okay? So we'll just console log those. And then if there's an error, we'll console log it, right? So let's give it a try now. So I'm going to go to my app here, and since we're going to use console log here, I'll open up the console, and maybe I'll click this trash can right here to clear the console, and then I'm going to click get by location. Oh, actually, it got all the location. Usually it says origin does not have permission to use geolocation service. That was a warning, but it actually gave me the geolocation. Usually it doesn't give us the geolocation, right? But anyway, it gave me the location. So maybe we don't have to worry about the HTTPS for right now. You know, I still feel like it's going to come back and haunt us, right? But we have a solution for that too. So let's look here. What do we have? So we have the object. I've got the COD of 200. I've got my oh, actually, that's the weather location. I don't want that. I want. Oh no, actually, you know what? That's the weather data. I made a mistake. Yeah, so that's the weather data, right? It just has latitude and longitude in it and coordinates, right? Yeah, it gave us an error for this. So we're gonna have to do something here to get it so we can get our geolocation, right? So what we're gonna do is this. I'm going to go to the internet really quick here, and I opened up this window here. I just searched for create. Let me actually Google it, right? So I searched for create React app HTTPS. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the documentation. So create reactapp.dev. So this is our documentation site. And when I go here, it's going to tell me how to use create React app with HTTPS. Okay. So what I want to do is read through here and figure out where I'm at. So I'm not on Windows. I'm not using PowerShell. I am on the Mac though, right? So I'm using Linux and the Mac, right? So this is Mac OS. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch our app with HTTPS equals true with npm start, okay? So let me copy that. And what we'll need to do is go back to our app that's currently running in the terminal here, quit the terminal. So that's Control C to quit, okay? And then I'll Command K to clear, and then I'm gonna paste in, you know, HTTPS equals true followed by npm start, okay? And this should launch our React project in HTTPS mode, right? So it's gonna give me this warning because the browser's gonna say that, hey, you know what? This is not a private connection. Like, you're kind of faking the HTTPS thing, right? So you know, you really shouldn't go to this web page. But actually, you know, we made the web page and it's just running on localhost, so we know that this is safe. So I'm going to say show details, and then at the bottom here it says learn more, view the certificate. You can visit this website, right? So I'm going to click on visit this website. It may look different in Chrome or Firefox. I'm using Safari right now, but so, you know, you'll have to click through and get to the link to the actual website and click on it. And then it'll say, hey, are you sure you want to visit this site? I'm going to say visit this site. Okay. And then it's actually going to ask me for my password too. I can't believe that. Let's see there. Oh, there we are. Now we're at our site, right? So I'm going to close this old one and we'll leave this one open, right? So this is now running on HTTPS, right? Actually, yeah, you can see it in the bar up here. It says https:// 3000, right? So let's go get our terminal now, or our console, and I'm going to click the by location button, and then it's saying like, hey, would you like to allow localhost to get your current location? I'm going to say, yeah, let's allow that. And now I can see that it says latitude 37.75, longitude negative 122 point whatever, right? Within 65 meters, right? And it's giving me all of the console logs that I have here. So it's saying the current position is, latitude is, longitude is, and accuracy is, right? And so it's telling me that information. So now we can use that to get our weather data with this latitude and longitude information. Okay, so that was kind of a long video getting this set up. So why don't I break this into another video, and we'll wrap this up in the next video. Okay, so thanks for watching, and you can try and finish this on your own if you want, and then check your work against the next video, right? So that's a challenge, right? Okay, so thanks for watching.